Hey everybody, I'm Jackie Trentman and I will be talking to you guys a little bit about utilizing proximity in our presentation. So I'm just going to be going off of the reading from The Naked Presenter in chapter 4. So what's his first name? Mr. Gare Reynolds gives us lots of tips about how we can use proximity in our presentations. And for me, the biggest principle that I took from this is just that we want to be speaking to individuals, not an audience as a whole. Let me rephrase that. So I think that it's easiest to listen to people when we feel like they're being conversational with us. And in order to be conversational as presenters, we need to see our audience as an audience of individuals. And our goal should be to be interacting with them. And I think closing the gap between us, the physical gap between us, goes a long way in doing that and helping our audience feel like they are a part of a discussion with us. I don't know if that makes sense. But anyways, the specific principles that he discusses are, first, he says to shorten the distance between yourself and the audience. And that means like the physical distance. Number 2, bring individual audience members closer to each other while still being sensitive to cultural perceptions of personal space. And I thought that principle was interesting, just trying to help each other, trying to help the whole room feel close together. And I could see how that makes it easier to learn from the speaker because you have this more personal feel in the room, if that makes sense. And number 3, he says to remove any barriers between you and the audience that create distance. And some examples of those barriers might be physical barriers like a podium or other pieces of furniture, or even just not physical barriers, such as using language that doesn't make sense to the audience. A good example that he gave of removing barriers was the singer Phil Collins, who began his career as the drummer in the band. But then when he started to sing, he initially sang from behind his drum set, but then recognized that wasn't getting the charge from the audience that they would like. He knew that he needed to get out from behind the drum set in order to really interact with the audience. So I thought that was a good example. It's just important to get rid of those things that separate us from the audience, because sometimes without realizing it, we may be hiding behind things because we're just nervous. Another thing some tips he gives for increasing your proximity to the audience are using a remote when you're doing a PowerPoint, so you don't have to go and click on the computer. And that's actually a question I have, if anybody can answer that question, because I know a lot of us just have our computers here, and when we do our TED Talks and then eventually our business presentation, do we need to buy a remote for our slides, or how do you guys plan on handling that? Because for me, I just have a laptop, so I don't know if I need to find someone who has a projector and a slideshow remote. I don't know. If anyone has any ideas about that, let me know, because I want to do a good job, but at this point, I'll just need to click on the computer to switch the slide. Anyways, okay, the next thing he says is when you're performing a demonstration, you should be up in front of the screen. So again, so that you are staying close to your audience. Technology should be invisible is another tip that he gives. So whenever you are getting your slides ready, you should make sure that your screen is invisible to the audience until you're ready to begin the presentation. And when mistakes happen, just roll with them and keep going. I think that that's a sign of someone who's really comfortable speaking, and a real professional is when mistakes do inevitably happen, they're able to just kind of roll with the punches. And the last tip that he gives is making your visuals big. I think this goes along with the signal to noise ratio. Like, all of our slides should be easily understood within just a few seconds, so that our audience can just see them and then not feel like they have to really think about it, I guess. So anyways, those are kind of all the tips that he gave with using proximity. I know for me that when I've been an audience member in a presentation where the presenter is really comfortable getting kind of up close and personal with his audience, I just find it a lot easier to pay attention. So hopefully we can use that in our presentations, and good luck to you all. I look forward to watching your videos. Okay, bye.